know? Do you know? Do you have a self record?
Yes.
Do you have a self record? Can you produce a self record? No, you can't.
Hey, yo.
Wait, no,
Can I
let him
finish?
finish.
Can I finish?
Let him finish,
Can I
Smurf. It ain't what you
finish?
do. Let him
I just
finish.
gotta see the rest of the list because he kind of punch it. I'm not gonna lie.
Scissor me, daddy.
Go
This is
ahead,
what I was
Smurf.
talking about. This is what I was talking about. I don't care because it's my list. I don't care.
I know what he about to say.
Yeah, fuck you.
Let's go. We're here. Let's go.
Yeah, you're talented.
Yeah,
Thank you. Welcome back.
yeah.
Because you're a mark, and the people you employ are marks, and the people you listen to are marks.
And this is why Swerve would get me mad. You doing all this complaining about WWE. In your company, they won't even make you the champ. And you're the one that you're currently in. They keep making you lose and making you look. I mean, he had it before, but they keep making you look crazy. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna give it to you for 2 seconds and then take it away. Give it to Daniel Bryan. And then he had a horrible run with the title. Then we're gonna give it to whoever else. And I don't know. They just be, I don't know, bro. They don't really be doing justice to Swerve. The way he be preaching and going out there talking about WWE. It's like, bro, they don't even be treating like they treat you nice in AEW, but they could put you in the spotlight a lot more, and they don't. You feel me? They done had MJF, they done had Moxley, Christian. Like, I feel like Swerve not don't be getting put in the same light sometimes.
He had his time, and then once he dropped it, I think when he dropped it, it was tasteful. He had a really good non. He's one of the few people that thrived in the non-title feud. A lot of people can. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of
Yeah, but
people
that's my
fade away after they drop it, and he looks more. He almost looked more like a champion without the title.
but that's my thing though. He been going around complaining about how WWE doesn't make black champions, and
They
you,
don't. They don't. They don't.
It's
I
not that many.
there's not that many people to be saying, yeah, we need to be making a bunch of black champions. There's so many more white people in wrestling. That's just what it is.
And
And
it's
I'm
really
super,
important to note AEW has featured like a dozen black talents. That's more than
okay.
the
When you
Royal
say feature,
Rumble.
what does that mean?
They've been wrestling on pay-per-views
Okay, so WW, I'm pretty sure we can name more than 12 black people that have been on WrestleMania
lately in the
in their
past
life.
year.
But that's my thing. This is where it's an improper comparison, or it's a wrongful comparison because AEW only been around for a couple of years and ain't even been around for a decade.
I'm not
So of
talking
course,
about no, they're not talking about lifetime. They just meant recently. They're so they
no,
both
but I'm
have
saying
a
this is what I'm saying though. This is what I'm saying though. Check what I'm saying. AEW is a newer company. You feel me? So we only have 5, 6, 7, 8 years of time to critique them over. And WWE, WWF has been around since the 80s, 70s. So there used to be,
what's their excuse now? What was your excuse in the Royal Rumble? There's one
well,
black girl in the world, or two black girls in the Royal Rumble.
well,
No
it's not.
black,
This is the
one black
thing,
girl.
right? This is the thing, right? It's not about an excuse. It's about the talent. It's about age. It's about who's there. There's a lot of newer talent that's black. They're currently in NXT. A lot of them. They have a lot of black champions that they've had in NXT, but they're younger. That's something that has developed over the past few years. They have a developmental program. AEW does not. AEW has AEW. They don't have a developmental basically like the G League, which is NXT. They don't have that. So they
They
don't
could though.
they're huh?
They definitely could though. They have the roster to have a developmental.
No, but
Not to
But
I'm not
wait,
They
arguing.
kind of do.
AEW.
It ain't
No,
like a
I'm
developmental,
glad
but
you mentioned that
But
because
I'm
they
not
got
arguing the
AEW has
fact. Yeah, I'm not
years.
arguing the
Ring
fact.
Honor.
Yeah,
They got
I'm
they
not
dark
arguing it.
shows, stuff like that. But it ain't really like a performance center type deal.
Right, and
right.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing that. Of course they could. Tony Khan is a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Him and of course they could do that. But you know why? Part of why they're not doing it is part of what I'm saying, which is the unfair comparison because they're not doing a developmental program right now because they're a newer company. So all their feature talent they putting on TV as much as they can. You know what I'm saying? And WWE they don't have to do that.
And a
Like
lot of that is
they
thanks
have
to WWE talent. Like I feel like the more AEW has grown, like it's less and less homegrown AEW talent being featured.
Say that again.
Like the more AEW has grown and stuff, it's less and less homegrown talent being featured on AEW. Like you look at this most recent pay-per-view, like it's like what 40, 50, 60% ex WWE people.
Okay, so what's your point?
They should start featuring more of their homegrown talent if they want to like be taken seriously instead of being considered as, oh, this is where ex WWE talent goes.
And most of their black, most of AEW's black champions, where did they come from?
AEW's black champions.
Yeah,
Swerve came from WWE.
most of them came from where?
WWE.
Swerve came from
So it's kind of unfair to say that WWE doesn't do them justice if AEW has taken these people from these other companies and they came from WWE.
No, that's still a valid criticism though, because Athena wasn't getting pushed properly in
better.
WWE.
Just think of it like this. Just think of it like this. Just think of it like this. Look, if you break down, I did what was it? Was it last week on that show? I brought it up. So if you break down how many black WWE champions they've had in the history of the company, they've only had four in the whole history of the company.
Rock.
And the gap between number 2 and number 3 is crazy.
Wait, hold on. I don't think that's correct. So there, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you look, because I'm thinking about 5 right now off the top of my head, and one of them is a woman. So I'm trying to.
A men or women champions?
Bobby Lashley.
I was just talking about men. The Booker T has never been a WWE champion. He was a world heavyweight champion. He had the big gold belt, but he's never been a WWE champion.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I don't. But that's what I mean, though. I don't think like. I don't really think
Rock. Bobby.
It's literally Farouk.
Booker T was supposed to be. He was supposed to be
The Rock,
Biggie,
and Kofi.
Wait, no,
we know that was a
WCW.
Huh?
Farouk is WCW. He won as Ron Simmons in WCW. He didn't win the title in WWE.
No,
I'm sorry. Bobby Lashley. Was it Bobby Lashley?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Because Big E beat Bobby Lashley for that title. So yeah. So we got 3 that's in the most recent, I guess, times. But are those the only black wrestlers that have been top stars?
Mark Henry, former heavyweight.
He was never a WWE champion. He was a world heavyweight champion.
It's a difference.
It's definitely a difference. If you can't put your big stars are supposed to get that belt that has your company name on it.
Their presentation.
That's representation.
They let Biggie.
And only 4 black people have had that brand around their waist.
The most charismatic black star they had in Biggie, they let him down. Criminal.
Yeah, so we got like I said, Ron Simmons, that was WCW, Big E, Bobby Lashley, Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston, Booker T, and
you can't count Booker T or Mark Henry because they weren't WWE champions.
Think about how they did Kofi and Big E.
I mean, all
4 WWE champions lost their belt to Brock Lesnar too. I don't know if that's coincidence or.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie though. That was crazy with Kofi. But they love. But I wasn't surprised because they love Brock. You know what I'm saying? Like they really. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, they did. There's no reason to Brock.
Kofi couldn't have the same level match as AJ or Danielson with Brock Lesnar.
Shoot him up.
Yes.
I don't think Kofi was ever as. I know he was very over, but he was never as over as Daniel Bryan was.
Not as Daniel Bryan or AJ.
But they didn't let Kofi get no offense in.
But Kofi, if they really capitalize on Kofi Mania, because that was big. I was a kid and remember how big that was. If they really capitalize on it, He could have been
He's
at least
fine.
like AJ.
Which, by the way, that AJ and Brock match is slept on.
No, it's not. Everyone likes that match. Maybe it's overshadowed by this Danielson Survivor Series match.
That one was fire too.
I think I prefer that one a little bit more.
I think
But no,
AJ was due to the fact that Brock didn't want to work with Gender.
This is my thing though. Hold on. AEW, they don't be y'all making it seem like they be having loads of black champions. Like
but
they
at least they don't sabotage their black talents like the way WWE. And
yeah,
they're
but that's because
really good.
all right, but this is my thing though, and I hate to feel like I'm defending the other side because I'm normally on the strictly like
No,
pro black side.
I see the points you're
But
making.
you feel like this is my thing though, right? I understand what y'all saying because I'm not saying that it's wrong. My thing is WWE has been around when it was okay to, not even okay in my opinion, but they was around when it was very pretty much okay to be racist. Let's just call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? Much more upfront with it, I should say. So yeah, there was a time where there weren't that many black champions and stuff like that. People still made names for themselves. And those people that did make them names for themselves are all Hall of Famers and all legends in all of our minds. AEW may have some black champions, but some of these people they don't have the prestige of some of the people that WWE was actually able to develop into those champions that we ended up seeing. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the prestige. The problem with AEW is that they're a newer company, so they got to work with who they have. You know what I'm
So
saying? So
wouldn't you say that Swerve is at least a little bit valid that in supporting the fact that AEW has the wherewithal, you know, you're right. They don't have, WWE didn't have the hindsight in the 80s and 90s to be, woke or whatever, to try to appeal to black stars and try to treat them better. But I think Swerve is valid. Swerve be going overboard. He's a little too wound up about it. But I think he's at least a little bit valid in the way he talks about AEW and puts
okay,
them on a pedestal.
this is
So
my thing, right? He may be valid. My problem is this is where my problem comes into play as a black man, right? And we
mhm.
all could probably relate when I say this, right? Okay, because it's like the easiest form of manipulation. You know what I'm saying? All right, if you want to talk about the company, talk about the company. Why are you talking about Booker T now? Why are you trying to
Now
critique
I do
him?
think you're right. I respect
You
Swerve
know
is
what I
being
mean?
athlete. Yeah,
He,
Swerve does.
Don't try to
when he
don't try
first
to
brought it up, he wasn't even talking about Booker T. He just made he made a reference to how Vince called Booker T a nigger. Well, he didn't call him a nigger, but he said nigger.
you was in the same
And
company
he
that
let
he
him
was in. So
slide.
why are you saying that now? This is my thing. You was in the same company that he was in, and part of why you upset is because you're not in that company now, and they didn't treat you right. So now you complaining and using another black person as a scapegoat instead of addressing the actual problem, which was Vince.
He's not using him as a scapegoat once, and two, he did address the problem, but he just also made a comment about how that happened,
My
which
thing
it
is
did happen. It's not like he
why
made up a scenario.
why
All right,
as a
hold on. So
black
wait, hold
why as a
on.
black why as a black man do you have to address the problem and shit on another black man if the problem was
Do you
really the
think
white
it's
man?
okay if
That's the
Vince called
that's the story of America. No,
said
this is
nigga and Booker T
dude,
didn't do nothing?
this is the story of America, bro. You know how like people black like bro. This is the story of America, bro.
Booker
So
T
This
wants
so you
his shot.
so
manipulation, bro.
so it's
Booker
cool.
T
We
wanted
gonna
to get
blame
his
each other
shot.
for stuff when the real cause of the issue was these white people. That's really what it is.
He didn't
Don't
he didn't blame Booker T though. He said what the issue
I'm
was
not
with
saying
them, and
blame.
he
I'm
brought up
not
an
saying he
example.
blamed Booker T. I'm saying that he. Why is Booker T the topic of discussion if your problem was with WWE? He
Because he
not
brought
running
up an
stuff.
example of something they
No, I
did.
don't want to hear that.
He
I
didn't
don't.
even bring up
You
Booker
could
T
have
name at the
used.
time,
I
but we
don't want
knew
to.
it was Booker T
I
because we
don't
knew
want
it
to.
happened.
I don't want to hear that. That was an example. Don't use them as an example.
That why
Be
can't you
smarter
use
than
an
that.
example? That
Nah, I'm
why
not trying to
can't
hear
I
that.
use why can't you use an example if you're when you're stating something, you're supposed to use examples of why you feel this is this way. That's how you state things.
All
I
right, so I
believe
got a
this. I
question,
believe
right?
this is going on. Example one is this happened. Example two is this happened. That's how you explain yourself.
Right, right.
So why didn't you
Using
use why didn't you use the example and say why didn't you
he
use the
used
example?
is when
Hey,
this man
Scooter.
said nigga and Booker T
All
let it
right.
slide. He didn't even say
Okay.
something was wrong with Booker T for letting it slide. He just, it
What
ain't
you
like
Scooter?
Booker
What
T
you
is
just
wrong
hold
for
on,
letting
hold
it
on,
happen. He just said
hold
that
on,
it just
hold
happened.
on, hold on. Wait. Before anybody else comment, let me address Scooter. I hear what you're saying, but what you're saying is not really right, bro. I'm sorry to say it like that. I'm gonna tell you why. When you're saying he wasn't really talking about Booker T, he was because he said you let it slide. If he wanted to address the problem, the problem was Vince McMahon using the N word. That's the problem. He didn't
Which
say,
he
yeah,
addressed.
there's bro. Just hold on one second. He didn't address the problem as Vince using it. He addressed it as, why would you let that slide? That's different. You feel what I'm saying?
The,
Do you
the
get what I'm
the
saying?
conversation, I get what you're saying, but the whole subject was about WWE. And that was the example he used. So the
And you're
main
proving
subject
my
was still
point. The
WWE.
subject was about
When
the
the
subject
main
was
subject
about
was WWE, the
WWE.
main subject wasn't about Booker T letting it slide. The main subject was about WWE. That was
So
just
then
an
why?
example.
Okay. So then
This
you
is
ask
an
me.
example.
So
Okay.
then you answer a question for
We,
me.
we
Then
don't use examples no more. Hey, guys, all right, so
why
when
did
y'all
he have
explain stuff, don't use examples at all when y'all explaining
why
stuff.
did he
Just
have
explain
to
shit and don't
that's
even
not what
don't,
I'm saying, bro. You have to
that
be
is
able
what you
to
saying.
that's
You
not what I'm
picking and
saying.
choosing and use his examples
I can tell you
on
what I'm
his
saying.
on what he
I can tell
said.
you Scooter, I can tell you what I'm saying. You want me to tell you what I'm saying?
You just did, and you said I was wrong
I
for
don't.
my opinion.
Okay,
Also,
you don't seem to have understood what I'm saying. You don't seem to understand what I'm saying. So I can explain and give you an example. My thing is, bro, if you're
don't give me an
if
example because you
if
can't do
you're
that. Apparently,
critiquing if you're critiquing WWE, does Booker T run WWE? Yes or no? Just answer.
no.
Okay. So then, if you're critiquing the company, why did you have to mention how somebody let something slide when really
It
the
was
problem?
an example. It was one of the examples he used. That's not
That's a
even the
real life
example
thing
he
that
used
happened.
in the conversation. And what he said, that wasn't even the only point. That was the point that they brought. That was the point they brought
That's
up.
the main,
But that
but
wasn't even the
you're
only point he had
proving.
in the
But this
conversation.
is the thing. You're saying that wasn't his. But guess what, people? This is what I'm saying about being a black man in America. You have to be smarter, bro. The main thing that people are talking about is what? You tell me. The main topic out of that discussion with Vlad is people talking about what?
And that's not Swerve's fault because he mentioned other stuff. But
I'm just
you know how
asking.
people spin stuff.
It is his fault. You know why? Because he could have never said that. So it
So
is
he
your
can't
fault.
have an opinion. So he
Look,
can't. So he
you
he
could,
can't say how he feel about stuff
bro.
because
Anybody
I
He
can
don't.
was
say
All
how they.
right,
expressing
you're right.
Anybody can say how they
he was
feel.
You're right.
expressing himself at
Apparently
Booker
not.
T's expense.
But anybody can say how they feel. But you're making another black. If my thing is, I'm only going by off of what he said. I'm not saying this like this is
I
what it
got
would
you.
be.
You can't
And
use examples
hold
if it
on.
has to do with another black person. I only can talk about other races when I'm
He's
using
making
examples about stuff. I got you.
No, no, yeah, because if your biggest problem with the company is how they wasn't featuring black talent, then why shit on another black person that was in the company by what a white person said?
He
I
Does
just
it
think
brought
not
up
make
a
sense?
he brought an example. Did he shit on him or did
Bro,
WWE shit on him by saying nigga to
I
him?
mean
Like
that's not
you
that
right.
was Vince. That was Vince that said it. So how come he didn't address Vince McMahon and just
He
say that?
did.
I
He
didn't finish.
did.
I didn't
it
finish.
was
He,
it
How
was
come he didn't
okay.
address
It's
Vince and
okay
leave it
for
at that?
Swerve.
Why did you have to bring Booker T had nothing to do with it? Why did you have to say he let it slide? Did you?
how
So let
can
me.
he
So
address Vince McMahon saying nigga to somebody without him saying Vince McMahon said nigga to somebody? You saying that he
because
shouldn't
he could
address
have
it,
because
but
the
you saying he
sentence
can
could have
address it?
stopped.
That doesn't make
Scooter,
sense.
Scooter, the sentence could have stopped right there. What you said, when there's nothing wrong with that.
You gonna tell
Vince
somebody else
McMahon said
what
the N word.
they can't
I
say?
didn't like.
How you gonna
I'm trying to
you
show you.
as a black man, how are you gonna say what another black man can and cannot say?
Okay, I got you.
You're literally
You want me to show you how I
contradicting
got
what you're saying.
you want me to show you how I got you, Scooter?
No, I don't actually. Go
Of course
ahead.
you don't. I know, so you don't. All right, so then look, you just don't want to hear this is my thing, right? Everything that you're saying would be right, except for the fact that your dumbass went to that same company that you sitting here talking about the N word. So how come you didn't care about the N word when you was part of the company? Answer that
He
for
didn't
me,
get caught anywhere. What are you talking about?
bro. But Scooter. Let me ask you something. If let's all right, hypothetically speaking, right? You go to fill out a job application for American Airlines at your location, wherever. We gonna act like there's an airport around the corner from your house. You go to fill out an application, right? You see camera footage of the person who's the hiring manager at that American Airlines around the corner from your house calling people the N word. Are you gonna reconsider working there because you know that they're racist? Are you gonna reconsider?
Probably.
Okay, so then that's my point with him. Don't make it
So,
seem like
because that happened, and then he later ended up working for the company, he can't say anything about it.
yeah, because now it looks like you're just a disgruntled person because you were trying to be in that same company. So if it really was a problem, if it's I'm talking from the perspective of a black man. I'm not talking about business. I'm just talking about what I respect and what I don't respect. If you're gonna have a problem with certain things about with black people, whatever the case may be, I understand it. I get it. But if you're gonna join the company and being a part of it, and the only reason that you're making it a problem now is because you're no longer a part of the company, you ain't really standing for nothing. I'm sorry, you're not. That don't make sense to me.
Okay. So now I kind of
Like,
understand what Trav was saying now.
how
Like,
come you didn't say
I
nothing when
kind of
you was
understand what
part
he's
of
saying now.
WWE?
I
How come you didn't say nothing then?
yeah.
It's kind of like he's saying like you kind of a hypocrite because if you saying Booker T let it slide by you joining the company and being around for a young amount of time, you kind of let it slide too because you went there
Yeah,
to work there. I kind
you
of
didn't
that's
quit.
like I see what he's saying.
Okay, which
But
is
I'm
fine.
sorry.
You didn't quit.
I never said I'm not even okay.
He
I
didn't.
get
He
that
didn't
point.
quit. He got
I get
fired.
that point, Trav.
They didn't want him
And
no more.
I agree with you on that. Okay, but I,
But yeah, but he was just using it as an example to explain why
that's
he
what I'm
didn't
saying.
like fuck
Like
with.
it
Like
was an
yeah, I
example.
understand what
He
both of
didn't,
y'all
he
saying
didn't
though.
even
You
say that Booker
But it's
T
the
was
way.
wrong for it. He just used it as an example when he was talking about the representation
But
in
that's
the
my
company.
thing. I get it, but that's why I don't respect it because out of
Why
all the
can't I
examples,
work for a
out of
company
all the
and
examples
talk
that
about
he
the
used,
representation in that company while I'm in the company? I can still
but
Nah,
complain just because I work for
now
them.
hold
Don't mean I
on.
can't
I
complain
don't
if
want
I
to cut
work
the
for them.
What's
wisdom.
worse?
I don't
All
want to
you
cut the
wills to
wisdom,
complain about
brothers.
our jobs. I know y'all have. If that's the case,
Now
y'all can't complain about nothing because y'all work for them.
that's true. That is true. I have a question though, just real quick. Like, we talk about the representation and we talk about today. So I think I asked it to y'all on the show, but I know Dev is new here, and I don't think Trav was around for that, so I'm gonna just ask. Like, if we talk about representation for black champions today, who in the company right now, and we talking about the belt Cody is holding, correct? That's what we talk about.
Yep.
Who in the company today is in? Would y'all say is like in position to be like we want to see him as the black champion? Like, who would y'all go with?
and this is the thing, right? Before y'all
Hold
even
on,
think
the main
this goes
roster
this,
or
wait, hold on. This
entire
goes
No,
into
because
WWE?
like, cause that's what that was gonna be my point, Cash. Because like, if we
it's
talking
not
like
enough.
main roster, it's not enough. Like
Exactly.
nobody
That's
really
my point.
powerful to me to be like, all right, he should be the champion. But
And
if we go
that's
NXT,
my
then
point.
of course Oba would be
But
the easiest choice.
yeah, that's my point with the whole black champions thing.
Maybe Trick.
They have so much more young
Yeah, maybe
black
Trick.
talent,
Yeah,
way more than AEW. If we really talking, that's currently set up for the future of WWE. They trying to make something. You could tell that they're trying to progress. They have. That's why I said this before at the last OT that I was a part of. I said this. I said, "Yo, like," and then somebody said it was like, "Oh, that Shawn Michaels running NXT," and I'm like, "Bruh, he may be the person that's there. I get it. He may be running it, but he's working with Triple H, and that's his best friend. We think that they not analyzing talent together. Of course they are. But there's a lot more black women and black men that are currently being shown on WWE television, and that's NXT and everything, than AEW. That's a fact. Because AEW isn't as big of a company as WWE is. They got NXT, they got Raw, and they have SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot more black talent that they do have that they are featuring on TV. It's just that they're not getting the Cody Rhodes belt because Roman just had it for 4 years. Cody Rhodes just got it, and right now they have some other storylines that they have to finish tying up with that belt. By the time these other storylines are finished up with Cody, John Cena, The Rock, Roman, there are going to be plenty of black people and even way more black people in on the main roster who we can say, yo, you know what, I can see him being a champion. Like which I said, Oba.
But
Now we know
we
Oba
can
not
say
going.
that.
Go ahead, my fault.
We can say that, right? Is the future
Yeah.
looks bright, but it's still if we look at the past, if you look at what's been going on, it's still a chance that the representation might not be there. Like that the push might not be there for those guys.
You
Oba
can
might come to the main roster and not see shit.
That's true.
But you don't want to just
the
you don't want
president
to just you
because
don't
there's
want to just be given a
Melo
belt.
should be booked the way he is.
I think Melo's
Melo
been getting
came up and he was the first round draft pick in the draft last year,
Melo
okay.
mid cool, but why is he
which
losing?
and faced Cody the
Like,
same night and didn't get a push.
My thing is though, can we not appreciate that? They didn't have to make him the first round pick. They made that for a reason. They showing us this is who the guy. This is who one of the people that we think is going to be one of the guys of our future. They could have picked
And then
anybody
they
number
showed us
one.
that, and now they're currently
They didn't
showing us
even
that
pick
he's
Roman number one.
and
Think about that.
now they're currently showing us that he's not the guy. So what was the point in the first place
How is
doing it?
that
What's
showing? How
changed?
my thing, bro, school to stop it, bro. Please.
What's
This is
answer my
this is
what am I
bro.
doing? Answer my question. What's changed?
This is wrestling, bro. Things have to develop. It don't just happen tomorrow. Look at where Cody Rhodes is at right now. It took him how many years
So
to
what
get
was the
that belt?
point then?
It took him how many years to get that belt? He white as day. It took him how many years?
So
How many
what was the
situations
point
did
in
he go through?
I
But
don't even necessarily agree with the representation thing that the internet takes it way crazier than I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
that's what
definitely
I'm
take
I
it
saying.
agree,
way
I
I
don't
too
agree
think
to
far.
it's
some points of it, but currently is not a lot of options to put somebody at the top. But on the main roster we don't see anything right now.
bro. The Street Profits have the tag team belts. There's only how many other belts?
They,
And
they just got the belts,
okay,
and
they
I'm not
just
saying
got
they
it.
should
That's
have that
recent.
one
So
time ago.
my
I'm
thing is,
just
yo,
literally saying
we can't complain about everything,
it's something we're
bro.
not seeing.
We can't complain about everything. We can't say that
I'm not even
somebody
complaining. I'm literally just saying it's something that we're not seeing.
they just
I'm
got
not
it.
even
They
complaining
just
about it.
got
I'm
it.
just
You
giving
know
you
what
a
I mean?
fact.
So I'm saying though, we can't say they just got the belts as if that's going to negate what I just said. They just got it. That's good. That's progression.
Montez was my guy to answer the question from earlier. I can see him being the next guy.
Yeah, I can see Montez. That was like one of the only people that, but
I
they ain't
thought we
really put
had
him.
this topic like not too long ago. Like this same
We did
discussion.
at
Yeah, we
the
did.
last show.
Okay.
A few different ways, yeah. Because a few times before it was Montez, it was how he wasn't because when they wasn't on TV. That's probably the last time we really had a conversation like this. He wasn't on TV like that. And then remember WrestleMania 39 where or Elimination Chamber. I mean, when they had him do the spot, he did the rock bottom and all that, or the People's Elk. Like they put him like they didn't really do much with him after that, and they should have. I could agree with that. They should have made him they should have put him in the spotlight. I don't know what happened behind the scenes why they did it. He seems like he does everything that he needs to do for the company. It don't seem like he had no problems. He don't be in the mix, but that could be a part of the problem. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So I could agree with somebody like Montez, but there's not a whole bunch of people like Montez on the roster that they just passing by. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like Roman was the champ for 4 years. That's a huge part of the reason why for 4 or 5 years we don't see no other champs. Because there was one person that was the champion for 4 years. So we have to add that in. So we got to think about, all right, let's think about it's 2025. Let's think about we halfway through the decade. So from 2020 to 2025, who was the majority of who was the champion the majority of the time? It was Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? So like when we think about fractions, when we think about positioning and all that stuff, it's not like they were just not having other people in the position and they had space. They didn't have the space to do it. They didn't the character that they built with Roman Reigns. They couldn't just have anybody just come there and beat him for the title. They couldn't do that. And luckily they didn't because they waited for the right person. The one right person that came along to do it was Cody. The only other person maybe would have been Gunther. But it worked out perfectly because now they got two belts. You know what I'm saying? Which their company is growing. They have two belts, so now it gives two different opportunities for somebody to be a black champion. And y'all say that Jay ain't black, but I think Jay kind of black to me. So it seems like he about to win the heavyweight championship. But we don't want to say that he black, which is why I feel like sometimes
Jay
we just be
not black
complaining.
because Jay
All
is the
right,
same
bro.
race as Roman, and they never call Roman a black champion.
Jay is not the same race as Roman. Roman is from Rome. His lineage, half his lineage is from Rome. Jay is not from there. That's
He
not
said
true.
he's from Rome. I'm crying.
For real, like he really from over there. I think they said his mom or something like she from Italy or something like that. She European. That's not Jay. They don't even look alike.
They,
One look
they
black and one
cousins
look like
like
a
they're
European.
Samoan. Like they're the same race. Even
No,
if
they're not,
like
bro.
Roman,
No, they're not. No,
they're
they're not,
cousins, like they're blood cousins.
bro. You, bro, you do realize I have Mexican cousins. I'm not Mexican. Like this is
Are
real
are
life. No, I'm serious. Like
are
first cousin.
they your blood cousins?
Yes, my blood cousins. They
So
share the
the
same.
Mexicans they have black. They're part black, right?
Yes, they are part
Because
black and part Mexican.
they
I'm
got
not
share the
part
same
Mexican.
blood.
Scooter, I'm
So
telling you,
you're saying okay. I'm listening. I'm listening to what you're
uh,
saying. I understand what you're
like
saying.
I promise you, bro. Like
At this point, I'm
I'm talking. They
disagreeing
live
with
in
you.
El Paso, Texas.
Listen.
I'm talking
I'm
about
not. I'm
real
not
half
saying.
Mexican.
I believe you, sir. I believe you, sir. But I'm just trying to correlate to what we're talking about. So by that standard, so what you're saying is that Roman is not. So you're saying he's not Samoan at all?
I didn't say that at all. I said that. I
No,
said Jay.
I'm asking you.
I
I'm not
said
saying that
I
you
didn't
said
even
that.
say nothing about Roman. I said Jay
You
is saying
did.
that he's not
I just
black.
said
Not full.
I said that Jay and Roman are the same. You said they're not.
They're not
So I'm getting clarification on how they aren't when they're blood cousins. Like
because their
they're
parents are
close
different.
on the tree.
Because their parent, bro. I just told you why. I have first cousins that are that are half Mexican. I'm not half
Right,
Mexican.
you have first cousins that have Mexican, but
You think I'm
how?
so? You think I'm the only person in the world?
Listen to
You think
me.
I'm the
Listen to
only
me.
person in the world that has
How
that scenario?
are Roman? Where like I'm not understanding how Roman and Jay aren't
Can I
both
tell you how?
Samoan. Is what
I'm
I'm
gonna tell you
saying.
how. I'm gonna tell you how. I'm gonna tell you how. It's very easy.
Like his
Roman's
dad, we know
dad.
who his dad is.
Roman's
His
dad is
dad is
Samoan,
Samoan,
and his mom is from Rome.
so
That's
he's
why.
part Samoan, right?
And he's also part what? What's the other
But
part?
he's part Samoan, which means that he
Scooter,
like him
I don't even know
say
what you're arguing right now. I'm not saying that Jay ain't part
I'm
Samoan.
not
I'm
saying it was
saying
that
that Jay.
Jay and
I'm
Roman were
saying that
Samoan, and
Jay.
you said Roman's
I don't
not
think he gets
Samoan.
it.
You say he's not Samoan, he's Roman, but he's
I
still
don't.
Samoan. Is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, Scooter, hold on real quick.
that's all I'm saying. You said he wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. Just 1 second. I'm about to
And he's part
explain.
Samoan, and then he's from Rome, and so he's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My thing was about Jay though. So you're telling me that Roman and Jay are the same, and they're not. He's part Samoan. Part of them is the same, not the full. The other half of
Okay.
Roman, bro. I don't get what you're not understanding. The other half of Roman's mom is not Jay's mom. If that was Jay's mom, then that would be different. That would make sense what you're saying. Jay's mom and dad are different than Roman's mom and dad. Now Roman's father is Samoan. He's a part of that family, just like how Jay's father is Samoan. But they have different mothers.
Is Jay's mom black?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on that, honestly. I'm not really sure.
Is Rikishi black?
I
Is
think
Rikishi black?
Rikishi is part black, if anything, as well too. I think
Yeah.
Rikishi is just
So
like
you
The
think
Rock, just like
Rikishi
The
is
Rock is.
Samoan and black?
Huh?
So you think Rikishi is just like The Rock, Samoan and black?
Yes, I do, but I'm not sure.
So so in that lineage, so you saying because of that, because Rakishi's Samoan and black, and Jay's the twins' mom might be black also. That's what makes Jay black, and because Roman
yes,
is
that makes him part black.
that no,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm asking. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that makes him part black. Yeah, I would give him that, and it's also because of how he looks too. Like it's also based off like I'm not gonna call a person that looks like a white person a black person. You know what I'm saying? So if the things match up, that also
What
is
if they are black? They just look white. Like I know some really light skinned brothers that can
nah.
pass.
That's but there's also see you're gonna make me really you're gonna really make me talk about some like there's also features
I'm just asking questions. At this
just
point, I'm
like
not even arguing.
just
I
like
don't even
Pat
want you to feel
Mahomes,
like I'm
just like
Honestly,
arguing
I
Pat
with
feel
you.
like
Mahomes.
if we have to
Just
question
asking questions.
deeply,
I'm just
just
saying
like
that if you are
we might
part black, you usually have a
have
lot of
to
features that are dominant because black is a dominant feature. Black is a dominant gene. I mean, so when you are part black, you usually do have features that show that that side of you is it'll probably stand out more than the other side. Now, some people have more of the white in them, which is why those features stand out more, and they only have a little bit of black in them because maybe they wasn't birthed from a black man or a black woman. Their grandmother may have been black or something like that. But people that
Okay.
are born from the closer it is to your generation in terms of If it's your father, one of them is black, like Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is very, very light skinned, but he has black features. He has nappy kind of hair. It's not the nappiest, but he also does have that type of hair. He has certain features that make him. We know that he is black. His dad is 100% black. So it really depends. I don't. Roman
And
don't
you
look
said
like
that Roman. So you said that Jay, Jimmy, and Solo they had those features, but Roman don't have them features.
Roman is not Rikishi's kid. I don't get what you. I don't
I,
get what you're
I,
saying.
he don't have to be Rikishi's kid though. To
You're making it seem
I'm
like they have to be the same. Like they're not the
no, no,
same.
no, no,
That's
no,
not.
no,
That's
no,
not
no.
his
I'm just
parents.
again. I'm not debating or arguing. I'm just asking a question.
Oh yeah, that's not. Yeah, they different. It's a little. Even though they could be cousins and all that. I'm not saying that they're not cousins. Yeah, they could be cousins. But part of who your uncle or aunt or whoever marries who or fucks who, and they have their kids. That's part of who your lineage is. That doesn't tie to you as the cousin because your uncle decided to marry a white woman or a Mexican woman or a Puerto Rican woman or a European woman. So now their kids are gonna have split lineages. That's what happens, and it just keeps going further and further along that line. Now Jimmy and Jay, now if they both marry white women and they both have white kids, their kids might have more white features, but they have black women, so their kids even have
No,
black features.
they both of them married to black women, so
That's what
they
I'm
got kids
saying.
about black women. So
That's what I'm saying. So that's why they kids even look black. You know what I'm saying? It's not Roman's kids don't look black. They look like they're mixed with European, some European descent. They don't look like they just black. And he got
I
a
got a
black wife.
question. I got a question.
Go ahead.
Once Jay wins, once he pins Gunther, I hope he don't. I hope Gunther squashes him. Once Jay
yeah,
pins Gunther, do you think he'll identify himself as a Samoan? Like, if the question comes up, do you see him identifying as a Samoan champ or a black champ?
I think, well, for me, I'm gonna answer. Everybody's probably gonna have a different answer. For me, I think that he will. I feel like he would say both, but I can understand if he just says Samoan because Samoan. We have to realize what we're
We
talking
might
about.
have to put money on that. We might have to put 5 on it.
That's cool. My thing well, in terms like which side you on,
Oh, he's a Samoan champ. He's a Samoan
but
champ.
that's my thing. I feel like in wrestling, Samoan means so much in terms of style.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That
And because of what you're saying,
my y'all can hear me? My girl coming. My bad, y'all.
you're
Y'all
good.
can hear me?
I can hear
yeah.
you.
I heard what I said. I don't know if it cut off.
I did.
Yeah, so that's
Right.
why. That's the only reason why I probably wouldn't take the bet because I'm not confident. And I also just he may not say anything at all about. Oh, I'm the first Samoan. Like I don't know, and I don't. First Samoan? What he's gonna say? First Samoan WWE heavyweight champion or whatever the other championship is called. Is that what he's gonna say?
It's the world heavyweight champion.
World
Yeah.
heavyweight? Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I don't know.
In the history books, them history books gonna say Samoan brother. It ain't gonna be like Jay's. So, I mean, he got some black features. Like he got features that could pass as black.
I mean,
Definitely.
look when
But
I
most
looked on,
Samoans got those features.
but when I looked at the list of black champions, you know what they said about Kofi Kingston, the first African WWE championship. That's what champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if y'all really want to also have a conversation about how black is like, y'all, I ain't like it's cool.
No, I mean you're making a good point. He's from Ghana, so he is the first African. Isn't he from
Yeah,
Ghana?
like they're gonna split it to make it look like a black American is separate than being black, which is really not. You know what I'm saying? So that's why and I had the conversation before how I feel like certain Samoan lineage does have black lineage in it. That's why they look like that. That's why a lot of them are darker skin, just like Dominican and Puerto Rican people. A lot of them have black lineage. They just don't know. They don't acknowledge it. It just is what it is. This is the facts behind it. You know what I'm saying? So if we're really talking about really like, that's why I look at certain things and go like, they ain't. I'm not expecting WWE to do it, but for me and what I know when I'm looking at a black person. You know what I'm saying? So they may not want to say that because they don't want to have whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you know when you're looking at somebody that's black. Kofi Kingston, they said first African. Okay, that is he African wherever it don't matter. He's still black though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. So you would still consider Jay a win for us, the black community.
I wouldn't mind. I would, but I don't. I see why people wouldn't. Just like with Roman, I see why people don't have Roman as a black champion. I don't know if he's a black champion or not because I feel like his features show not black so much. You know what I'm saying? Like his features show European, European, European. Jay and Jimmy, they look like they are black. They look like they mixed. You know what I'm saying?
They
Some would
look
even say,
mixed for the
yeah,
most part. They're very Islander, especially like Roman. And I know
yeah,
they be saying the N word.
yeah. That's why. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird parallel. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if we even talking about that, like, so because we don't consider them like this, like, all right, let me ask y'all a question. Like, y'all don't think WWE when they see them, they see black men?
See who?
When they see Jimmy J, y'all don't think they see black men? When they see The Rock, y'all don't think that from Triple H's eyes, he don't see black men?
The Rock, I don't know about.
Maybe Solo.
Maybe
Maybe
I don't, I
kind
don't,
of rock.
I don't know how racist white people think. I don't-
I get it, but I'm just saying when they see a certain tone and certain features, they see black men. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think that the only reason I'm saying that is to say that I don't think that they're looking at the situation and going, "Oh yeah, nah, they're Samoan, so they good. We can let them slide and be champions." Like they putting Jimmy and Jay. They see Jimmy and Jay all of them as black too, and they've been in the spotlight for years. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been in the spotlight for years. Bubba Ray Dudley, his tag team partner, that's a black man. You know
I
what
don't.
I'm saying?
Of
That's his
course,
tag team partner.
it's the lineage though, like all the way back. The Samoans run WWE damn near more than white people.
right.
Yeah,
I feel like on day to day, I don't know. But I see what I completely understand what you said, Trav. So again, I don't want you to think that I'm arguing. Uh, but I don't know. Like they might categorize them just as Samoan. You know what I'm saying? Of course, on a day to day, they look at them. They got black features. Oh, them some niggas. You know what I'm saying? But it might be different just because in wrestling, the Samoans have been running shit forever, and they're so deep in their lineage of being Samoan that you gotta categorize them as that first. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just don't think that WWE, like the people that's running it, are looking at it and saying, "Oh, they're black and they're not. They're Samoan." So I feel like they see what they see, and like I feel like they haven't been doing a bad job putting black talent in the forefront. They just have Bobby Lashley. You got Jimmy J. You could take Roman out of it. You got The
They were
Rock.
awfully quiet on Black History Month.
Nah,
They
see,
should they all
no,
be
I blame
quiet.
them for that. I
They
ain't
kind
gonna lie.
of fumbled the end of the last year of Bobby Lashley. They
Of
fumbled Bobby
course.
Lashley a couple times actually. Now, and I'm not even saying this race thing, but they definitely fumbled Bobby Lashley a couple times.
But did they fumble? Did they fumble these guys just because they were black? Is that what y'all think?
No,
There's a pattern, but no, I don't think they're.
right.
I don't think it's because they're black, but there's a
I
pattern.
mean, I just think I feel like it's so crazy that I'm actually on the side of things. I just don't agree with that. The pattern, all right, let me put it like this. There's more of a pattern of them having issues with white talent than black talent. Tell me how I'm wrong.
No, when you say them have an issue, what do you mean?
I
Anything.
mean, when
Any way you want issue to mean, any description, any way, I mean not any description, any way, I'm not even trying to be funny either. Any way you would describe issue for yourself, they've had a lot more of that with white talent. We were just talking about Moxley. We were talking about CM Punk. You know what I'm saying?
I
Think
mean,
about
situations like the Booker T and Triple A situation where Booker T clearly should have won that match. That was made for him to win that, and Triple H goes over. Kofi Kingston getting squashed in 10 seconds, just diminishing his whole title run. There's just a lot of instances where It's like, okay, well, I don't know. It's a little.
Okay, now this is my thing, right? The situation that you just said were Vince McMahon, and this leads me back to my point about Swerve. Like, why wasn't you, if you was a man, I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm just saying, if you the man that you're trying to portray right now, speaking about these things, why are you not sitting on Vince? You should be sitting on Vince McMahon out of more than anything. But instead, you know what he wanted to do? Let me add
He
Booker
talked
T
about
into
the
this.
company too.
No, but
But
I'm saying
he
though, I'm
did it at
saying
Booker T's expense, which was
yeah,
embarrassing.
exactly. Like if you really love black people that much, why, or I don't even want to say it like that. If you really care about the black perspective in WWE and you want to defend that, then why are you bringing Booker T up to make him look bad in a situation where everybody saw at the end of the day, we using a scapegoat by saying, "Oh, Booker T, you let it slide." Okay, I can say the same thing. I didn't like the fact that Booker T let it slide either. I get that, but also, what was he supposed to do? He punched Vince McMahon in his face, and I,
You're
and I'm
right.
pretty and I'm pretty sure Booker T has done a few things in WWE that could have got him into a lot of trouble with Vince, and that's part of the reason why he's a legend because he was able to end up who he was still and still be the person that he was. But I don't. What was he supposed to do in that situation? You know what
And
I'm saying?
Swerve didn't do himself any favors by um, avoiding Booker T. Booker T reached out to him to
True.
do something to
And
confront him in some way or somehow.
I was like, when they saw each
Instead,
other, which my bad. Go ahead.
and Swerve's response was the way he closed out Dynasty, saying that Booker T to the crowd. That was his.
Exactly. And that's
That
and that's
that's
why I
bad.
say it's not
That's not.
just Vlad, and that's why I say it. He's like when I was saying, I'm glad my man just said that too. Scooter, that's you gotta look at that too, right? Okay, the Vlad thing is one thing, right? And yes, it's not. I don't agree with you saying that it's not his fault that people are making the Booker T the biggest thing because I think that is his fault. But I understand what you're saying when you say that, so I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. But then to double, triple, quadruple down on it by ending AEW, where you didn't even win the championship, they made you lose. They made the Young Bucks come back. They wasn't. I was watching somebody. They was gone since October. They made them come back. The one night that they chose to have them come back is to beat you up so you don't win the championship, right? After that, you want to complain about WWE and Booker T? That's what you want to do? That doesn't even make sense to me, bro. You look like a cuck now. How are you complaining when the company that you were part of, the company that appreciates you so much, just had a group of people come back that nobody rock with right now? They've been gone since October. It's April. They had them come back to mess up your moment, and you decided to take that and say, you know what? I'm mad at Booker T. That don't make sense. That look crazy, right? Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping.
That look crazy, bro. I don't like, bro. I like Swerve. I don't, bro. Like that looks bad,
Yeah,
bro. That looks bad.
and to not seem like a bootlicker. I don't like Booker T. I don't like him as a commentator. I don't like. He's an annoying like he has like two funny moments a show, but
Tripping. Booker T is
he's
one of
annoying.
the entertaining commentators.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
Oh
I like Booker T as a commentator. I'm not
yeah,
even gonna lie.
I rock
I
with.
like that character. I can't remember the character name, but I like the character he get into when he announces.
Yeah, nah. Booker T is
he's
hilarious.
Booker
I
only
rock.
fun. It's only
entertainment.
fun when Trick comes to the ring. That's it.
Because Booker T, even though he
Since,
does goofy shit, he knows this shit on a psychology wise. Like
but you
he
wouldn't know that if you listen to the.
commentation.
Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah,
just.
yeah.
I feel
But I
like
feel like he like the funny part. It's like
he's
attitude
giving the
era.
same
He the
feedback as like
king.
Like
Adam.
yeah, like a JR almost. Like
But yeah, he be the king or um. They've always had that type of role or whatever, and I feel like he does that
like
great.
Macho
And
Man.
it's the fact that it's a former wrestler who's doing it also.
Yeah, he's
Because
legit.
how many former wrestlers do we have that's like
I love
good
when
commentary?
do that. Like Wade, I love Wade Barrett's commentary. Like,
I
I
like
fuck
Wade.
with Taz's commentary.
yep, they know the psychology of this shit for real. They actually know what's going on in that shit.
Booker T does not be talking about no psychology either. It's only the hose. That's it. And Trick.
It's only the hoes. But hey, like I said, he like the this version of the king. Except not as he's still pervy, but not as pervy as the king.
It was like some other shit. This nigga was.
And this about Booker T too. I mean, look, I I rock with Booker T, so I don't want to seem like I'm just caping for him. I might sound like that, and that's cool because I rock with him for real. But my thing, bro, like he's also a part of LFG right now, where they have there's a lot of black. Well, I don't want to say it. There's a good amount of black people in LFG right now. He's one of the judges. He's helping an entire new class of people develop, and he's pushing the two black men that are probably really going to be something in terms of if they're going to be something. They I can see these two on his team. He's pushing them heavy right now. He got two other white people on the team. He's pushing the dude Anthony Luke, and he's pushing the dude Jasper Troy. So like, Swerve, who are you pushing? That's black. Who are you helping out? That's black. I mean, y'all can answer that question for me. Booker T been doing a lot more for black people than Swerve has.
There are There are two different points in their careers. He can't help people the way Booker T does right
He
now.
can.
And he never said.
He's
It's
still in the
not like
house.
he said Booker T. Okay, so and the reason I made the points I made is because I feel like I understand both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? From Swerve's point of view, I think is a conversation. He made a statement in this conversation, and it snowballed into more than what it was supposed to. And niggas are gonna be niggas and not be like, my bad, it shouldn't have went that way. I shouldn't have said that. Now he just like, yeah, fuck that nigga, which is stupid on his point, but I feel like
Swerve do want to
that's how it
talk.
was because if you listen to the whole Vlad interview, other interviews he's had, what he's talked about on Lil Ice Cube's podcast, when he talks about representation, like he's making sense. Even what he was talking about at the end of Dynamite, it's just he fucked up because he like I'm not arguing that he this what he said or the stuff he went towards Booker T is not goofy because it is and it's not necessary. But the other part of it, which is being overshadowed, is what I was talking about. And then he didn't even like. It's not even like he called like Booker T a coon or anything. He just
He made a
it
rough
wasn't
edge.
like crazy. But I felt
I
like
mean,
people taking it like he was straight
That,
this is where I have to
disrespectful to Booker
interrupt
T,
because
which he wasn't.
this is where I have to interrupt, bro. Because at that point, you can't say it's not like he didn't call him a coon. That at that point, he might as well have just called him a coon.
Because
He might as
he
well
made
have
a
just said,
statement like he didn't even say like,
bro.
oh,
He
you
said
should have
he
did
let it
something,
slide
you a
as
bitch
if he
ass
was
nigga for
the N
that.
word.
He just
he
made it
also
like
said fuck Booker T.
he
Like, what
just
more can you do after that?
Like, yeah, like he might as well just had to call him a coon. He might as well
I
just
have a,
say, yeah, he's a
I have a,
coon.
I have a question, guys. It's good to see
Yo,
everybody.
boo.
It's good to talk to you all. I hope you guys are doing well. Um,
Hope
so
you're
my
appreciate.
question is right. So Swerve had the opportunity to clear the air with Booker, right? It was a couple months ago, right? He confronted him.
Right.
Why not hash out your issues right there like grown men? Like why
Exactly.
Right,
like and then the
right.
fact that you're waiting to after Dynamite, right, to say what you say, and then you're gonna like I don't understand the pettiness. And like I had a debate right on the GC Div was in there, and they took it a different way, so I was like I stopped responding. But like it's one of those things. It's like how old is Swerve? I don't know how old is he? How old is he?
I can look it up real quick. Let me tell you.
Like,
In a second.
Once again, is
early 30s,
maybe
I
early
think.
30s.
so he's a 30-year-old man that can't handle like that. That is beefing with how old is Booker? What is he
34.
like 50? Right, 50? Is he like 50?
93.
Is he like 50? Right? So he's like 50, right?
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
Booker is 60.
Okay,
Holy
that's
shit.
really interesting, right? You're
You
a
hear me?
30-year-old man, and
You
you
hear me?
can't talk about your issues and like grown men and solve it right there and then and be a professional. You can't like you're pushing shit all out, all in whatever it's called. Right? That's what we're doing right now. And you're like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you putting negative emphasis on your code? Because now AW is gonna be like, sure, well, damn. Well, there's golden drama. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
Or maybe I just feel like
We're not even talking about the review. We're talking about how good like the triple threat match was between Omega, and then like we're talking after. Like that's the wrong way to go. Like we shouldn't be talking about the aftermath. We should be talking about how the pay-per-view was really good. Like it was for all. But we all
Right.
talking about the drama. That just no sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. You was kind of breaking up a little, so if you could try to get a little bit better connection, I basically heard. I think we pretty heard what you said. Like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Or what it is for himself.
You know?
And the more you guys talk about it, doesn't it kind of hear what Heyman did to Punk a couple years ago?
You
With
said
the work.
You said the more that we talk about this song with Heyman and Punk. Say it again.
Fucked up the connection.
Yeah,
Everybody sound crazy right now.
It's some nerves, bro.
Hey yo, all right. Say that again.
So y'all remember what's happening? Kind of sounds like what happened with Hangman and Punk. Remember when Hangman and Punk had tension and heat for that one promo right before it brought?
Oh yeah, you talking about? Oh yeah. That's a good point. It does kind of sound like that.
And isn't it funny that they're teaming together? I don't think Dynasty. I think they are telling some stories. Maybe it's unintentional. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. But
it just doesn't feel like Booker is playing around. Like it feels like he is very much annoyed with this shit. Like
no, I don't think he's saying Booker. I think he's talking about on Swerve side with
yes,
AEW.
well, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Because Booker T is not. He's definitely not a part of this. Like if this was kayfabe or whatever, he's not a part of it. And on his show, on his podcast, Reality of Wrestling, he said, "Yo, like I probably won't ever say anything positive about him again. I don't really have much to say to him because we could have just like what y'all saying, we could have talked about this, but instead he wanted to do what he did."
Yeah, and I just felt like the same thing too. Like I don't know if you guys heard me. Like I'm at work right now, so I'm trying to give my best connection.
Oh yeah, you good, you good.
But what I said is that I don't understand like the route he went. I just don't get it, and I do not understand how hard it is to solve the situation. Like Punk and McIntyre, he had an interview today. He said, "Hey, we have issues. Me and Punk, we don't like each other, but at the end of the day, we be professional. Like in this business, you have to be professional. There's so many other companies, wrestling companies, right? TNA, AEW, was it ROH, and then New Japan, and then what NLW, the new one just started up. So yeah, so like the fact that we're not talking about how good the pay per view was, we're talking about the aftermath. It just shows me that like I think the Swerve cares about more about himself, like how he looks, rather than the product, rather than the company, how it's going to do well with him. That's my point.
Yeah, and I think that you just made a really good point because, and that's kind of what we were saying a little bit. I think before you even pulled up, but that shows me that we kind of all understand. Like, bro, at the end of the day, whatever your gripe is, now you just made it look weird because you're on your company is over here, and Booker T and what he represents is on the opposite side of that, and you're shooting across the map at that particular person when your real gripe is about Vince McMahon and how they ran things in the company, and he's not even there anymore himself. It just looks very forced.
After a pay-per-view.
When
you're supposed to have the headlines on.
Where you should have won the belt. It just gets deeper. It's crazy the more you think about it.
I feel like people taking it too heavier than what it is. Like people, nigga, it ain't even this much uproar when MJF be cussing the fuck out of WWE. Like
that's my point about this whole thing, bro. When you are,
he ain't even talking shit about dude for real. Like that's why I feel like I get.
No, but that's why it looks corny. It looks bad. It looks distasteful. It does not look good. It does not look good as a black man because now it looks like you're shooting out of all the people you could have really shot on. You shooting at the other black man.
Like he barely.
No. I don't mean shooting. I don't mean
See, from my point of view, right? I'm not African American. I don't understand. I'm Hispanic, so I don't understand the cultural like importance right there. I only can go based off what you guys tell me and what wrestlers
Yeah,
we discuss.
and I
I
respect you even saying it like that. For real, I respect
because
you
I
even saying
can't.
it like that.
Well, from what I see right on my TL, and I can't say they're right, I can't say they're wrong because at the end
Yeah,
of the day, I'm not black. I'm Hispanic, burnt Mexican. Maybe I get burnt, and I am more tan than I am. Okay, but
yeah,
I'm Hispanic. Okay, but I
yeah.
will say that what from what I've seen is that people and on TL, I'm not saying they're right. This is the tweet I saw. It's in the black community that they don't really f with Swerve like that. They more effed with Kobe when he won the title, and I don't know if that's right or that's wrong. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't.
there is a community that does not fuck with Swerve. They've said like he's said like some things that are, you know what I mean, a little
He
shaky about black people. So
had Mello at one
I
point.
don't
Y'all,
know too much about it though, so I can't really speak on it.
And that's
Yeah,
what I mean.
him
yeah,
Now,
and
that's
I
what I'm saying.
never.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
My fault. You go. Hey, Dev, you go first. My fault, bro.
oh no, you're good. I was just someone mentioned the black community not liking Swerve, and it probably stems from what he was. He had heat with Carmelo Hayes. I don't remember why. If someone might, does anyone remember why or when? He,
I'm
Yeah, I
literally about to
remember
Google it right now.
NXT
I
when they
don't
were
remember.
in NXT. It was it's because Melo was getting more TV time than Swerve. I think that's why. I think if I
I mean,
remember,
it's a
that's
couple instances like he done
yeah.
said
I think
it,
it was over TV time or something like that.
it's
that's not
definitely a
Melo's
community
fault.
that don't fuck with him though.
I'm trying to look something up to see if. Uh, I'm not. I guess I can't really find. Let me see.
While y'all doing that, I'm gonna turn this specific part, this conversation, into an OT with Trav because this is actually a great discussion. I just want to applaud you, brother.
Yeah, this is a fire conversation. I think this is.
Yeah, and like I said, I can't see from your guys' point of view how you guys see like Swerve,
Yeah,
right? I only can
I
see
honestly
from
don't. I try not to get too
But
into
something on that
shit
incident,
too
I
much
think it's
anyway.
yeah.
on a
I
broader.
Unless
respect.
you just a piece of shit. But
It's important
I
to
don't care.
note. AJ, is he still here? AJ, um, you can make somebody look bad without insulting them or calling them names. That's the issue. That's a big issue with what Swerve did. You
That's
Yeah,
don't.
what Burke did. He punched on
You
him
don't,
back.
you don't have to call him a bunch of names and a bunch of coons, this and that, to make him look bad.
You know,
Booker T put him down on some classy shit. Like he just made him look dumb.
he did, but he didn't call him any names. That's I feel like it's bigger
That's what
than
I'm saying. You don't have to.
what
You
it
I
is.
don't
mean, when you
do
say
that.
fucking nigga,
Make
like
him look bad.
that's kind of that's technically calling the nigga out his name.
But
That's
I
like
think that was more of him being petty, not him like, you know
nah,
what I'm
bro.
saying? Like he seems like for my
You know he
entertainment.
hot because if you do that after a match on a pay per view, one of the biggest cards of the year for your company, you definitely feel some type of way.
Nah, it's a B card. That's not a big card.
That's what I'm saying. I think just because it's already the topic. The thing he before he even
Yeah,
said that was the last thing he said. Before he even
yo,
said that, he was talking about representation again. He was talking
Twitter
about how he's
was
been
this nigga.
as a black man, he's been
Like,
main eventing.
you gotta dial in this nigga, man.
But I feel like that's a wrong too, right? Because I mean, Kofi. I mean, I'm not technically Kofi. I mean, that should have been the main event. It was just Brian at Mania, right? That should have been the main
Swerve look dumb, man. Yeah,
event.
man.
But technically, right? I
Fuck.
think I think Booker like main evented with Hunter at Mania, right? I think it was the main event at 19.
No, some of them stayed in the box, but half of them fell.
Was the Hunter and Booker tease a match at Mania? Was it main event or was it?
That didn't land on the floor.
That's a good question. I think it was main event. I'm not 100% sure.
Because if I yeah,
yeah,
it was
let me look at
it was a main event. If I remember, it was a main event.
Yeah, I agree with dude. Like I think there's different ways to insult, and I just for me personally, and oh shoot, I said I'm muted. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Mhm.
and touch grass first, bro. I respect the way you even said what you said because I
Sorry, guys. I
respect.
thought I was muted. That
Oh
was
no, oh yeah, you. Oh, all right. So you go ahead then. If you were saying something. Okay, wait,
No,
never
I
mind.
think I think he said he's doing so with his family. He said that's why
Oh,
he's
okay.
moving. So.
Yeah, so I respect how you said that being of Hispanic descent. I respect how you was able to say I don't see it from y'all point of view, so I'm listening to what y'all are saying. I respect that because there's a lot of people that don't take that perspective to be able to learn certain things. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that you can understand about what we're saying, being an Hispanic man, technically being a minority just like us. There are differences, you know what I'm saying? But there are things that you can understand too. I just respect the way you even said that because a lot of people wouldn't say that like that. They feel like they just,
Yeah,
oh yeah, nah, you got to see it like this because y'all black and you're not even. So I respect
yeah,
the way you was able to take a seat and
They
say,
not
yo,
like
I don't
us.
even, and I'm gonna listen to
yeah.
y'all.
Yeah, I feel like when we talk about like because the biggest thing, right, and when we talk about wrestling is like lucha libre, right? And I feel like
Yeah.
for a lot of years it was disrespected, right? A lot of people said Ray was too small. Kalisto, what is it? I remember American Dragon. If you guys remember him, in SmackDown 2003, he got nuked. I mean, so like I feel like when I'm talking about my Hispanic side, like I could kind of like I don't really say I would understand how you guys feel, but like the same conversations right about like inclusivity and like representation, like like we got our own group LWO, but like I don't even like that group,
Yeah.
right? So like it's
Yeah.
kind of like hypocritical. Like it kind of reminds me of Dev. You remember the super crazy guy that you drafted in your draft? Yeah. So the super crazy Mexico cool, like they come out on lawnmowers. That happened, right? It happened in 2003. I thought. I mean, back then it
It
was
was
funny. Right? Now you look,
psychosis. It was
yeah, psychosis.
1995 psychosis.
Yeah, yeah, not Psychosis, Super Crazy, and I believe Juvante Guerrero was in that group. But like they coming out lawnmowers. Like back then, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. But like now, you're like, damn, that was fucking racist. Like,
Yeah.
god damn. But um, I was like, in my sense, where I look for what's gonna draw me, and for me, a lot of sense is like, people like Booker, like people like Shelton, people like Kobe, like Big E, like those people right there, like they gravitate towards you, like want to watch wrestling, like those, and I feel like they do need more inclusivity in WWE. They do need it. Like I think what the biggest thing right now is probably Trick. I think Trick needs more like I wouldn't say like a title reign, but like I say more like it's just like he needs more standing on the NXT roster. And I feel like if he gets to the main roster, I wonder if he's gonna get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
But I took it another way. But you
And
get it.
yeah, I get what you're saying. And you know what? There's another point that I want to add in about all of this that um even though we could speak about representation, the crowd has to migrate towards you. And I feel like we leave that out of this conversation. If I was to talk to Swerve, he probably would talk me under a table because I don't wrestle. You know what I'm saying? But I would be able to talk to him from a black man perspective and say, bro, first, you don't have to like, all right, Touch Grass is Hispanic, right? You don't want one Hispanic. You don't. Let me give y'all a perfect example. Perfect example. When Penta came over here, he didn't talk about the Mexican champions or Mexican people or Hispanic people over in AEW. He didn't shit on them. He shitted on. Well, he didn't really shit on AEW at all. But he said how happy he was to be there. He didn't make the moment about me attacking one of my own across the map. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like there's one company that loves doing that first. And then they get mad when WWE does it back. You know what I'm saying? Swerve, if you have a problem with Vince, I'm on your side. Now your problem with Vince is your problem with Booker T now? That don't even make sense. You're not fooling me. Like you could fool other people, and that's exactly what he did. And to give a deeper perspective into it, Swerve, as a man, you have to understand certain things. As a black person, as a black man, you have to understand if you're gonna talk about these issues, you have to understand how certain things gonna look, right? Of course they're gonna blow you shitting on another black man up. What you think they're gonna do? Just like if it was a Hispanic person, if Penta came over to WWE and shitted on I'm not really too familiar with all the Hispanic people, or I want to speak strictly about luchas in AEW. Anybody over there who's played that lucha, who's done the lucha, who's a luchador over there. If he was to come here and talk about them, I'm pretty sure maybe in the black community we wouldn't understand, we wouldn't see everything. But in the Hispanic community that does watch both, they would be upset about that. I feel like they would. And some of them are gonna pick their sides, just like how we doing with Swerve and Booker T, or how other people are gonna do with Swerve and Booker T. That's what's gonna happen. But instead of really talking about the actual problem, now you taking away from that because you don't really want to use afraid to talk about that and leave it at that. Now you gotta add in somebody that looks like you to make them look like they part of the problem. How could you make somebody look like they're part of the problem that looks like you when you're trying to progress people that look like you? That don't make sense. That's not how you do it. I'm not gonna shit on black people to progress black people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not if I'm Hispanic, I'm not gonna shit on Hispanic people all the time to if I want to progress Hispanic people. Yeah, there's critiques that I'm gonna give as a black man. There's critiques that I'm gonna give to certain things in the black community and all that type of stuff. That happens, but sometimes I'm a part of that too because I'm also a human that's black and I'm in that community. Sometimes I'm a part of the issue too. Just like on the flip side, if I'm Hispanic, yeah, you may talk about problems that Hispanic people face. But you're not gonna just want to shit on Hispanic people more than anybody else. That's not what you're really gonna want to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a deeper even the way I'm trying to say this, I'm trying to say it in a better way than what I really want to say with some of these things. But there's a deeper, bigger problem at hand. And most of these situations, if y'all can get my drift, that people never really want to focus on. They always want to add something else to it. We got to have a subcategory or a sub blame to it. Instead of just saying this is the problem and that's what the problem was, we got to say that's the problem, but this person let that slide and then that person let that slide. Well, that person and this person wouldn't have to let anything slide if person A never felt like it was okay to do that in the first place. Vince McMahon. If he never felt like it was okay, how come we don't talk about how come let me give y'all another example. How come Swerve didn't say nothing about John Cena? The scene, I remember the scene. The scene started off with Vince talking to John, right? So
Right.
how do we get to how do we just skip to Booker T? He said the N word with John Cena. How come you ain't saying nothing about him? But that's because you respect John Cena. You going if people was to ask Swerve, how do you feel about John? Maybe not now because John Cena's a heel, but if they was to ask him about John Cena, I bet you John Cena's a great and he does blah 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 blah. But instead,
How do you know he didn't say nothing about John Cena?
did you see him say anything about John Cena?
He talked
I
about
did.
he didn't say Booker T name. He talked about that whole scene, which means
Stop
he
it.
talked about Vince, John,
And,
and
and
Booker
well,
T in this situation.
so,
We
so
know
I
the
heard your
scene, so of
perspective.
course we know it was Booker T.
He said Booker T let it
He
slide.
didn't say his name.
So what did he say?
He talked about the scene, and he said that Vince said nigga to a black person. He didn't say who it was, but since we know the scene, we know obviously it was Booker T. He never said his name.
All
He
right, so
talked
let
about
me.
the scene, which means he talked about everybody in that scene.
He
So
said, "Fuck
you can't
Booker
use.
T." I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. He clearly addressed. He clearly addressed who he was speaking to. He wasn't talking to John Cena. He was talking to Booker T. Here goes a quote: "Fuck Booker T." So we know who he was talking about.
But that's after. Okay,
What do you
okay,
mean? I'm
go ahead.
saying though, he didn't.
Okay,
But
so I
even
feel
what
like
you're saying, Scooter, even what you're saying right now proves my point because he made it his point to make sure that we know at least one person that he was talking about, right? And who was that one person? Booker T.
That's the
Booker
bit.
T. Booker
That's
T.
already talked about. So that's at this point. It's like cheap heat.
But Swerve,
Okay,
Swerve likes
here's my thing. Oh, go ahead, my bad.
so no Swerve likes hearing himself talk. So he's gonna talk himself into some shit and get himself
True,
into trouble. That's what he's gonna do. And
true. He
then
put his foot in his
this is
mouth.
exactly what happened. He
And which
likes hearing
And
himself
that's
I'm
talk.
part
not
of the point.
disagreeing on that part. I'm
That's
not
what
even
happened.
defending him. I'm just saying that I feel like it was made bigger than what it actually was.
All right, here's where I see your point of view, right? I, I
I
see your
think
point, right? Like I think this is more of an angle to help get him over, right? But it doesn't feel like an
No,
angle. It feels like genuine heat. Like it feels like someone like they're getting ready to scrap in the back in a parking lot and throw hands. That's what it
I
feels like.
think
That's what it
it's
feels like.
deeper than what it is because him and Booker T have history. So Booker T took it personal. That's why it's deeper than what it is.
Yeah.
If
So I
they
feel
didn't
like
have no connection, I don't think nothing would have happened really. You know what I mean? But the
no.
fact that they have a relationship,
And
that's why
Hmm.
that
that scene was brought up. Booker T felt the type of way, which he should have. And he was like, nigga, why you ain't say nothing when we saw each other? You got an issue. So since he said something, I feel like, of course, Swerve is going to say something, which is why he made the fuck Booker T comment.
No,
But I
because
don't think it's really like I don't think it's on the level of people like, oh, Swerve being super disrespectful. I don't think it's I feel like it's not that.
For you though, Booker T said he was disrespected. He was like, "All right, I don't fuck with you no more." Like, because to him, he was disrespected.
Which is fine, because but if he feels that way, that's fine. I'm not saying he's wrong feeling that way.
bro,
But I feel like as a
he
whole,
said fuck
the whole
Booker T though.
situation,
Like, what are
you
we?
said what?
He said fuck Booker T. Like, you making it seem like Booker T said something to him first. He said something first to him, and then he said fuck
I'm
him.
not.
I have a question, right? And this is for Dev, right? Dev, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so you were in that GC, right? So what they were saying, do you think it's that? Like, do you think it's like a different meaning?
Do I think that they had a
Yeah,
different meaning than us?
yeah, like a deeper meaning. Like, you know how they were saying in that GC where they were like, oh, it could because of this. It could. I'm not gonna really
So
say it out loud because it's record space.
the individuals in that chat are very pro AEW, right? Like
Okay.
the way they opened the conversation was like, "Oh, look at these cringy NXT fans," right? Because at some point, if y'all saw on your timelines, there were NXT fans going "fuck Swerve, fuck Swerve, fuck Swerve," and somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, those guys are losers," and I was like, "How? Like, oh, so when they do it, they're losers, but Swerve does it, he's cool." That's what I said, and it kind of stirred up a whole nother
See, that's real
conversation.
shit.
But but to answer Ghoul's question, they have a bias. It wasn't really so much against Swerve. I think it was just against, or excuse me, I don't think it was against Booker T. Their comments, I think, was really just like, oh, WWE fans, we hate the WWE fans.
I mean, both companies do this shit. WWE do it.
They're both the problem. You're right. They're both the problems. I
Everybody
think
do it.
AEW fans they're having more trouble admitting that they're part of the problem,
Yeah.
especially after the Ricky Starks jumping ship. That was ugly. I thought AEW fans were being real ugly towards
I'm so
Ricky.
glad you brought that up because
Undeserving.
okay, so let me set the precedent, right? I congratulated Ricky Starks on winning this championship, right? And the first thing
Yeah.
that comes out of their mouth was like, "Oh, AJ Styles is going to AEW." I'm like, "What the fuck does that have to do?" like what? Like that's the type of people I have to deal with in that GC. That like I was like, what? Like, oh, Karen Cross is going to AEW. Like, what? But yeah, that's the precedence I have in that GC. Like, it's kind of like,
It's
and I don't even
gross
know what I'm
how they
stealing.
can be
I don't,
more
I don't know
competitive
what
than
I'm
the
stealing,
actual
but
wrestlers sometimes.
yeah. Um,
This
but I will say
conversation.
that like both companies do it though. Like it's just like pettiness back and forth. But I think WWE's kind of slowed down the pettiness ever since kind of Hunter took over. I mean, where was one instance, but then freaking I think Will Ospreay kind of made it a bigger deal
I,
than what it was.
I like
This
it though.
dude,
I'm
this
not
dude
mad
went
at
on Vlad. This
wrestling
dude went on
pettiness.
Vlad TV. Like, y'all,
Hmm.
y'all know, like those that know about Vlad. I don't even have to
Hmm.
say anything more. But if anybody needs me to explain why I'm saying it like that,
And Booker
Swerve
T
looks
that shit too.
absolutely nuts right now after doing what he did. This has nothing to do with company versus company violence anymore. This has to do with you looking like an idiot to your people. This is why whoever don't like him, I get it now. Bro, I don't. I'm for all minorities. I want to see all of us succeed. Anybody, unless you're doing wild stuff. You feel me? But y'all get what I'm saying, bro.
I
Like
still
he looks
I still like
crazy.
his character, but he shot himself in the foot doing that.
Yeah. Straight Plaxico Burris. Facts. He shot himself right in the foot. He looks crazy. This looks absolutely nuts. And now you're on the island by yourself. You know what I didn't see Tony Khan say? Yeah, I agree with him. I didn't see none of that. I didn't see nobody come in second or I didn't see nobody back up what his sentiment was. He's
That's a
standing
good
He's
on the
trying
point.
to
island
avoid.
by
He's trying to
himself.
avoid. He's
No,
trying to
that's a
avoid it.
really good point.
You know what's the thing about that though, where he's gonna get asked that question in the press conference, 1,000%. At the next
Maybe.
review, he's gonna get asked about this at the press conference, 1,000%. And I
Joe
wonder
doesn't ever ask good questions.
how is
Before.
he gonna answer that question in the business sense? Is he going to
He
answer Tony
probably
Khan or is he going to answer
I would
business?
love to be the person asking him a question because I would ask him questions to back him into a corner. I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable because let me see what your real problem is.
he's gonna stand on it too. He's
Yeah,
gonna
and if you're
stand
gonna
on it.
stand on it, then that's cool. My thing is why shoot across the map at another person from on Vlad TV? Number one, that's where you started it at. Why go on Vlad TV to do that? You didn't do that on O'Shea's podcast. Like I didn't even know he was over there. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do that there. You didn't have that conversation with other black men in the room. You had a conversation with a white Jewish male who's already
He did talk about representation. Like he is this isn't the first time this conversation came up.
no, but this
So
is
my
the
question to you, right?
my
I have a
thing.
question,
Hold on,
right?
wait, hold on 1 second,
Oh,
Touch
go
Guy.
ahead.
This may not be the first time because you're right. I saw others because when I was looking stuff up where I was talking with him and Carmelo, he did bring this is a recurring thing for him, and I appreciate that. I'm 100% on the side about what he's doing is I'm gonna keep saying something about it, so it keeps putting pressure on those people who have the power to put somebody in to put more and more black people in the spotlight. I'm 100% on the side with that. You feel me? The thing is, the the way you decided to do it in the biggest moment is gonna matter, and you have to know that. So when you go on Vlad TV because it didn't work and it didn't become as when you said it before, it didn't hit all the media that you needed it to hit. I get it. But when you go on Vlad to do that now, I don't respect that because I know of Vlad and how most people in the black community look at Vlad. Now, I'm pretty sure he has to know that because he went on Vlad. I ain't never seen a wrestler go on Vlad. So there's one thing. Number two, the company that you are talking about right now they have a developmental program, or I don't want to say developmental program. They have NXT where there's a lot of black talent on there. Where the company that you're working for, like I said earlier, I don't want to be repeating myself, but it matters. The company that you at, you're saying F you to somebody on the other company who's not even he's not even wrestling no more really. You feel me? You're saying F he's on LFG and if Swerve was watching, he would see how much he's advocated for black people on LFG. But not only that, you after the pay-per-view that you're on where you didn't win, you're doing this after you didn't win to make people feel like yeah, I told y'all that this is about representation and blah, blah. Bro, this has nothing to do with anything right now because you're not being represented right by you losing right now. You deserve it, right? You talking about the past 12, 13 years. You clearly deserve to have the belt, whatever the case may be, so somebody can see, so somebody's 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid can see, yo, look, mommy, there's a black champion on TV. That's what you're doing. That's part of what you're doing it for, right? You know what
But
I'm
he
saying?
talked about in the past year how he was a champion, he main evented these, like he talked about how he the representation. So that,
I
I get
also
that.
don't want it to be made out like Swerve wasn't buried last night. I don't think we should have that consensus because he still he still looks strong. He's still side by side with Hangman, who is another big figure in the company. Um,
Yeah.
Character wise, you know, the real life dude, kind of corny, but like character wise, he still looks good in the company. He still is a good black figure character wise. His wrestling character still is a decent figure
Yeah, I get
in
what you're
the
saying.
company. But no, every other point you made, I agree with. He shouldn't have did.
Yeah.
He shouldn't
I
be
don't I
talking
don't
like that. Keep it
yeah,
business.
I don't think he's buried. If I was making it seem like that, I don't think that. I just think that what I do think is that to the people that are this is like bro, there's so many different ways I could go with this, bro. To the people that are watching and that care about his issue, most of those people are going to be black people. It's not going to be nobody else. So to those people that care about what his actual problem is, you completely like what you say, you shoot yourself in the foot because to those people, to us, to these people, to minorities, to whoever can relate to even a little bit to what he's saying about representation, it looks bad now because it's not just about representation. It's about Booker T. And now it looks like it's personal towards Booker T, who's also the same thing that you are. You got locks just like him. Like if you want to talk about features, you look like a younger Booker T. You're shooting at the one person, at one of the only people that was actually prestige enough that your problem could actually he could second that. He has his own podcast. He could second that. And you decided to be smart and go on Vlad TV. And then on the show that you on, you wanted to say F you to that person at the end of the show where you didn't even win, where they had two people come back who wasn't around since October to help they wanted to push that story now so that you could lose all of that. It like that don't, it don't even it, his the like his what he did after AEW didn't even fit with what just happened at the end of the show. It didn't even fit. Like, wait, so after you just lost, now you're talking about representation and how, like, I don't get it. It doesn't, to people that are looking at that, we're gonna be like, bro, you didn't even win. Like at least it would seem better. I'm just like I'm kind of being funny, but it's true. At least it would seem better. It would hit more if you had the belt in your hands and you were saying these things. Because now people could look at you and say, well, he does have the belt. I know he got it before, but I'm saying if you're gonna, matter of fact, how come you didn't have the speech when you won it before? How come you didn't do that? Like I just don't. It just none of it makes sense for me. The only thing that does make sense is advocating for representation, which I'm gonna always stand by. I get that, and on any platform, not just wrestling, in any world, in any sports world, anything, entertainment, I'm always gonna advocate for the minority. You feel me? That's just me. But it just looks crazy because, bro, like it don't even look. It looks like you just looking for a pop. You looking for a way to have people see you. You're looking for a way to add sentimental value to your character. So now people could be like, oh, he cares so much about. But then the people like me, I'm looking right through it like, bro, now I liked him. I'm looking at him like, bro, I don't even really want to hear what he has to say right now for a little
Yeah,
while. You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like
He
it don't
shoehorned, what he did, he shoehorned a big political issue in the middle
yeah,
of his with Booker T.
exactly.
That's what he did. Yeah,
And
that's
you
what he
went
did.
on Vlad TV to do it. No, there's a lot of black people that don't like Vlad. Now a lot of
I'm
people
not
go in
familiar
there.
with. I didn't hear about Vlad till just recently.
Yeah. I was shocked when I saw. I was like, Vlad TV. You know, like, I thought that was kind of weird. If you're gonna be talking about some of these, even if he went on there as satire, he didn't go on there as satire. He went on there as Swerve Strickland, his character, and he went there and addressed certain things. And and this is another point. Then Vlad is going back and forth, throwing shade at Booker T too. Look at what you're doing. You're now you have this white man who's pulling the strings on both of you guys. Not like it's like, bro, you have to be like, come on, bro. Like, you're not stupid, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm 27. He's 34. He's 7 years of more. He has 7 more years of wisdom on me, and I know how crazy that looks for you to go on Vlad TV after everything that he represents and how many people have called in the feds and all this stuff. And now he going back and forth with Booker T. And then after you see him doing that with Booker T, you go on your show and say F you to the same guy. Now it looks like a war amongst black people when it really shouldn't be a war amongst black people. It should be a war against the people. I'm not gonna say who are not giving the representation that you fighting for. That it don't make sense.
So I didn't actually watch the actual interview. Did he ever mention Booker T with that one guy who was a convicted, that one coach who has a criminal record? Remember
Uh,
that was like a big issue. People were spreading around.
I'm not
But
re- Hey,
I'm
one
not
of
sure.
y'all.
I didn't see the whole interview.
Yeah, I didn't see the entire thing because I can't because he's on Vlad. So
gotcha.
you know what I
Well,
mean? Like I don't really fuck with Vlad.
I didn't even hear. I'm taking everyone's word for it, but I didn't hear about what Vlad was up
Yeah,
until all this
Vlad
shit.
Vlad is like amongst the entertainment music world thing. Like he's like DJ Academics or something. He's kind of like that, right? Now,
Gotcha.
Vlad, yeah, like, but a lot of situations with Vlad, like, I'll give you one example. There was a guy who his house, he got his house, he was a rapper. His house got robbed or something like that. His girl This is extreme, but I'm just to just give you insight. Something happened with his girl. His girl ended up shooting the dude that came to rob him or something like that. But he got shot a few times. He survived. Vlad pulls him on his podcast like the day after, bro. When I tell you this, you gonna think I'm lying, bro. Like the day after it had, or it was a no. He didn't get shot. He almost got. It was something like he almost got shot or something, or his girl got shot. It was something, but they both survived. You could see like they hit like he got pictures of his place and how like somebody tried to rob or he got lined up or something like that. Somebody tried to set him up. Vlad calls him, gets him on his podcast to talk about everything, asking him all types of questions. Oh yeah, what happened with this guy? All this stuff. The very next day, that guy gets killed. Vlad, you don't hear Vlad saying nothing about that situation after that. That's just one situation. There's a lot more situations where Vlad has had people on his podcast, then they get indicted. He'll ask them questions. It's like Adam 22. Then they're now I'm not saying that all these people are doing smart things, because obviously if you're doing anything that you shouldn't be doing, you shouldn't go on somebody's podcast and sit there and spill the beans about it. But that doesn't happen in every situation. So he seems to be connected a lot with like Adam 22, who I'm not really sure. If some of y'all are fans of him, it's cool. But for me, I don't rock with him because I'm
He
not gonna
pimped
get
his
into all
wife.
of that.
He
Huh?
pimped. He pimped his wife.
Yeah. That Adam 22 is
Really?
crazy. Cucked his wife
That's
out.
crazy.
But yeah,
I don't.
like
Yeah.
Vlad is like one of them. He's like one of those types of. He's probably like the founding father of white people that do media on black entertainment, which includes black trauma, black history, black all the things that's black or minority. I don't even want to just say just black. He's probably like the founding father for that, for those people. So if there wasn't a Vlad, there wouldn't have been an Adam 22. And look what type of person that he is. You know what I'm
Damn.
saying?
So
So
he's like a shadier TMZ. Is
yeah,
what.
very, 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 but he focuses a lot on just black and minority issues. And he's not trying to help those issues. It's just, yeah, come talk about it. So my channel can get views and I can get rich from it. So that's why I don't appreciate the fact that if you're gonna make a black issue the way you making it, don't go on his show and give him all these views. Now he's sitting there making money off you and Booker T beefing with each other. That's exactly what he wants. That's exactly what he got. And that's exactly what it is now. You don't see Vlad saying, all right, how about we have you and Booker T come sit down and talk about it? Did he do that? No. You know what he decided to do? Go on Twitter and tweet at Booker T. Now Booker T is like, I don't know what this guy's now he's dropping screenshots of conversations with him and Booker T. It's just like it's like, bro, you have to realize when somebody's pulling the strings
The
to make.
more you say, the less likely Swerve is gonna recover from this. To me, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know
Yeah,
Adam 20 came from that show, but that's
yeah.
place.
No, he didn't come from there. I'm saying that Vlad is like, if you ask somebody who Adam 22 looked up to, I know one of them will be Vlad, because Vlad is like the only, he's like the older white person who does media like that.
Oh, okay.
Like how Adam 22 has all those, he has a bunch of underground rappers come on his show. And you see what's going on. I don't know if y'all see what's going on with No Jumper. All these indictments going around, and the FBI sitting there coming up to Adam 22 crib because now that's a whole different conversation. But there's a lot of gang ties that he had with his show, and he's sitting there exploiting it and making money off of it, or potentially making money off of it. It's just exploitation of black and minority people. It's just exploitation of it. You feel me? He's making bread off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so one day we have to be smarter. As if we're gonna look, I'm not perfect, and no black person is, and I don't expect nobody to be perfect. Yes, we have a lot of issues in the black minority community, bro. But I'd rather us handle those issues amongst ourselves and be able to talk about it and be able to handle those issues in a more positive way when we can. Sometimes the negative way is the positive way. You know what I'm saying? But when you're the person, you have that spotlight on you, and you decide to go hook another black man to your issue, but on the opposite side of the issue to make it seem like y'all are against each other, what is that going to do? I mean, you got to be smarter than that. We live in America. It's history. History You could read on it. You could go see so many things about history, bro. You could go read about the Willie Lynch letter and what that meant and how even though it wasn't real, the ideology behind it. I mean, you got to be smarter than that, bro. If you're going to talk about representation and all that, I'm with you. I get it. But you hooking another black man instead of just addressing it and saying Vince McMahon was the problem, or Triple H is the problem, or that whole family is the problem. You want to hook? All right, yeah, Vince was the problem, but this guy let it slide and f him now. And you're not even saying f Vince. Vince is disgusting. Everybody in the world should be saying F him, but you're not even focusing your energy on him. You're not focusing your energy on your own boss, who's not employing all the black people that he could, because he has a newer company, which means that there's way more talent out there that he could hire that's black that could be put on that company. WWE already has a roster and already has stories. AEW doesn't have as much stories in history that WWE has. So WWE can't just pivot to any story that they want to just to include a black person. That's why certain things don't make sense. AEW, they probably could. You want to know another example? I don't even watch AEW that much, and I still can say this. Bobby Lashley left WWE. They got him, they got Shelton Benjamin, and they got MVP, and they have a story that they was able to develop with them as soon as they got over to AEW. You know why? Because there's not enough history that you can say, oh yeah, we can't do this story yet. We can't do that story yet. We have to let this cook. We have to let that. No, because there's a bunch of stories that AEW doesn't have yet. They haven't been able to have because they're a newer brand. So you're able to have somebody like the Hurt Business come in there, or the Hurt, whatever they called over there, and you can have them doing whatever they doing, and it's cool. You could just make a story out of nothing. You can't do that in WWE. They have decades and decades of history that you have to address. Just like with Roman, the Samoans, and Cody Rhodes and Dusty and all that, and CM Punk. I mean, think about CM Punk, Seth, and Roman. That's a 12, 13, 14, 15-year build. And one of the people left the company for 10 of those years, 11 of those years. And he came back, and now we're about to get a triple threat. And it still makes sense. Why? Because CM Punk is the one that brought that he was I don't want to say he brought him on, but y'all know what I mean. He was the one that was basically the one that made the Shield. So it makes sense, and that's a 12, 13, 14-year story. You can't just do that anywhere. AEW can, because they haven't even been around for 12 years.
Yeah.
But I'm rambling and stuff like that. That's how I feel about it, because I feel passionate about stuff like this, because I hate when a black man, like, if you're gonna be about the problem, bro, don't hook another black man to the problem and make it seem like he's the because now people are talking about Booker T. They're not talking about how sick Vince McMahon is. That's out of all the people out of this whole thing that happened with Swerve, that should be the conversation. How racist WWE was, how racist the owner was. That's what we should be talking about. But now we're talking about Booker T and Swerve, and Booker T and Swerve, and Booker T and Swerve. And Vlad is in the middle of it saying, yeah, nigga, I got y'all. I'm making money off of it. It's crazy, bro. You gotta be smarter than that. After you lost in your own company, you didn't even get the belt. They didn't even represent you the right way. You happy because you fought for it. Well, if I go look up on Google how many black people fought for the championship and lost, I bet you we're gonna have a longer list. So what are we really talking about? What's really the problem? Everything that he did looks hypocritical and crazy. It looks like he just wanted to get at Booker T. And if that's what the case may if that's what it was, then say that. Don't add black representations into it to get your personal gripe out with Booker T. That's corny. I don't support none of that. If you have a problem with Booker T, you address your problem with Booker T. And that's why he looked like a pussy, because you had times to address that problem with him in person and you didn't do it. So now you want to make it seem like, oh yeah, it's about representation, and that's why I'm adding him into it. That's not what it's about. Y'all had issues that's clearly behind the scenes between two men. Not black, not white, not nothing. Just between two men. Y'all had issues. Y'all ain't want to deal with it. That's on both of y'all. Don't try to make black representation the forefront for you to deal with that issue now. That's corny. You look weak now. So now me, a person who I never had no problem with Swerve, and my opinion don't matter probably to him. But me, as the type of person that I am, now I don't really want to hear what he has to say. Now he just a person who don't even barely watch the company, who would, if I am watching, I know somebody like Swerve and I would want him to win. I could give a fuck if he win now, because now I can see through your bullshit, bro. I see through it, and a lot of other people should be able to see through it, bro. You using a scapegoat to make it seem like this is about representation of black people. That's not what it's about. It's about you and Booker T because you have a problem with him because something probably happened with y'all when you were signed to WWE. That's it. Clear and simple. I can see that from my house. And I'm not nowhere near the situation. I can tell that's probably more of the issue than black representation.
I definitely see what you're saying about like the representation that matters in the company and how it just kind of seems like he's piggybacking off of like his issue and making it to something that's not. And that's what it kind of seems like. And that's what the debate I was trying to have early in the GC, but it went another route. And I was like, I'm not interested in this type of conversation because I'm like, this has nothing to do with that. But
They put words
yeah,
into your mouth. That's what they do that sometimes.
yeah. And
Different,
I was like,
come
I
on,
was just like,
different,
oh,
different chat.
yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, okay,
The only
okay.
reason I'm
Now
still in there
I
is
see what
because
you're saying about earlier. Now
yeah,
you said they
yeah,
were
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
AEW and they sided with AEW.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
you could kind of go where the conversation was going, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, yeah. I could assume. I could. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Having a
what I
kid,
mean.
having a little one, you could kind of get where
Yeah,
the words
Like
are not
we
coming
were
from.
saying, Ghoul was pretty much saying the same thing you were saying. Or Touch Grass, same thing you were saying, but they kind of geared back to Booker T, like Booker T being affiliated with this pedophile who's a coach. I don't know if he was in Booker T's school. I don't remember the relationship with them,
Yeah,
but
yeah, and
we were talking about handling. He had a bad approach to Booker T. He shouldn't approach Booker T or shouldn't approach the issue. The problem was he didn't approach Booker T. The way he approached the issue was wrong, and then they brought up, "Oh, you think it's okay for Booker T to be associated with pedophiles?" Like that was just so left field, and
Mhm.
like I understand why Google got mad. I asked him to change the subject just so it didn't escalate any farther, but
Good.
I
And
asked him
yeah,
because I knew how they are, and it just wasn't worth arguing with him. But I already saw where he was coming. He was already right to me, so I didn't want him to escalate it.
yeah, and
yeah, yeah,
it's there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that come along with that. So I can see why certain things like you want to be careful and when other people
yeah.
just
Having a kid
impact.
of my own, you could kind of see where all that was
Yeah,
taken.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I definitely get it. I definitely
yeah,
get
I was
it.
like, yeah. What I will say to your point, right, about that, Nico, we might have to cut this out because I don't want you to get demonetized on YouTube. By the way, um, but what I will say is that I don't know how to say this. Um, it just kind of feels like when we talk about that, right? When you how do I say this? Um, it just feels like it's a desperate attention to make yourself relevant. Like
Make
hey,
it. You said to make
on
yourself
this
what? I you
relevant,
make.
relevant, like desperate
Oh yeah,
attention.
yeah, yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah, it just feels like hey, I'm trying to do this for me, and I'm gonna add this to get more attention and get more box office seats because I'm trying to promote a pay per view that's coming up for me and
Of
all that.
course.
That's what it feels like.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I. That's pretty much what I was saying in less words. Exactly. I probably should have said it like that. But yes, it looks like you were just reaching because AEW is not getting the views that y'all want. It's not successful like WWE, which it wouldn't be because it's still a newer company. This is why I wish they would realize this. You have to let it develop. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like you're reaching for. Oh yeah, if I say something about black representation, I'm gonna get more black people to watch this. No, you're not, because now you look like a goofy. So now I really ain't don't want to watch AEW. If there was one reason that I would watch, it would be one of the reasons would be Swerve. No, I don't want to watch it. I don't. I'm cool now. I'm good. I don't even need to see it now. And that's for me. And he got to realize that everybody wasn't there with AEW when they started off. If I was there, I wouldn't feel like that. I'm a newer fan. I'm a newer fan. Well, I don't even want to say I'm a newer fan. I recently started watching wrestling again in terms of the last few years, and I actually started watching AEW probably 2 years ago, and I stopped because they got bad. And if anything, now that I remember when I started watching, he wasn't in the title, he wasn't in that championship picture yet. He was still kind of newer in the company. Well, he wasn't new, but he was newer. So they was developing him and seeing where he is now. It's like, damn, you got basically right to that top. And now you don't even know the fans that you deterring from even watching the product now because you want to do this goofy shit and talk about WWE and Booker T at the end of y'all pay-per-view. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm a new fan. Oh yeah. He just talked about WWE and Booker T. Oh snap. Yo, that just reminded me. Wait, what's today? Sunday? Oh shoot, LFG come out tonight. Guess who's on there? Booker T. Now I'm thinking about WWE. He don't even think about marketing. Like you talking on a night where a show that he's on is coming on. Yeah, I mean, or at that time it came on already. But still, if you didn't see that on Sunday night, you gonna watch it on Monday. You know what I'm saying? So you taking the attention away from you winning that championship, which is which should have happened. Even though Tony Khan, for some reason, how come we not talking about that? But it's cool. I'm gonna let him cook because that's really the conversation that Swerve should be having. But he ain't gonna do that because he don't want to talk about his boss.
And that's
Just like how
another
he
thing
didn't
that
want
didn't
to
make
do.
any sense. That's another thing that didn't make any sense. Like how, like you bring back Nick and Matt Jackson for what? I don't
Yeah,
under, I don't understand that. I
I
mean,
yeah.
feel like
Scooter, you probably watch more AEW than me, so like, I mean, I just don't understand it. I just don't
Nah,
understand the
bro.
booking. I really don't.
I don't be watching. I just know what's going on. I didn't even watch that. I didn't
Yeah.
even watch that pay-per-view. I saw what happened at the end and I said,
Mhm.
"See, I'm glad I didn't watch."
Oh, you should have been in here. There were people in the Discord. I'm like, oh, Nico was one of them. I remember.
Nico was
Yeah,
probably mad that he lost.
because I remember Nico was like, I spent 4 hours of my life
See?
here.
That's what I'm saying. I knew it. Nico was probably mad that
the
he lost.
whole
Like, bro, nobody watched for him to lose. In the way that
Yeah,
it happened, just so they can say, "Oh yeah, him and Adam Page are cool now." I don't give a or Hangman Page.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care about
By
that
the
much.
way, that's real life though. Like, how are you going to be cool with somebody who burned your house
Yeah, like what? Come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
does that make any sense to anybody? Like, you're going to be
It
cool.
makes sense.
Like,
You know what?
you just
It
burned
does
my
make
house down,
sense.
and I'm going to be cool with you. Like that.
It does make sense with his character because that's exactly how he came off with everything with this Booker T situation. You sitting there, you're cool with the guy who did all the stuff to you, but the people that's helping you or whatever the case may be get to where you was, that's not who you cool with right now. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it just you know what, it might go with his character. You know what I'm saying? It might just fit his character, man.
Oh my
Swerve,
god.
the
swerve,
Yeah.
narrative
look,
the
man.
narrative I see most with that is, the enemy of my enemy, so on, so forth. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I think that's kind of what's
Yeah.
being planted right now. I like
Yeah, but he burned down
I like
his
the whole yeah.
childhood home. Like,
But
What is it? Wasn't he by
can
his
you
sister
understand?
though?
Like, understand the book it says. Like, are you going to be cool dapping up a person who just burned your house down?
hell no, it don't make sense.
Yeah, he is. You know why he is. You
But
know
I got
why? Because
a question.
he was cool with Vince and he was cool with WWE when he was a part of the roster. He didn't care about the N-word then. So yeah, it fits his character. He didn't care about the N-word then. He didn't care about black representation then. He only said this once he left the company. So how much do you really care? Is your gripe about the company because you're not there, or do you really just care that much? Because if you care that much, you would have been in the company saying, "Yeah, I need more black people to be represented, including me." You ain't do that.
you fucking mark